Okay, in today's video, I'm going to show the stocks that I'm going to watch tomorrow. Some of them. I haven't even completed my list yet, but I've got enough to make the video. So some setups I'm going to be watching tomorrow. And I'm also going to show one of my favorite entries on an intraday basis. I'm going to use two examples and just learn it because it's just a great, great entry. But first, before I start anything, I just want to give hats off to Big Ideas. That's his chat room name. He's one of the all-stars in our chat room, basically a member that we've given moderator status to because over the years he's just proven himself. So we've got, I don't know, maybe 7 or 8 moderator status guys now, just chat room members that are just great traders. And so their posts stand out, get a chime and all that. But anyway, Big Ideas today called PSX as a short. I just can't get over this. He called it right below this little 2-minute topping tail there and the stop right above there. So the numbers on it, short entry at 61.79 right below this 2-minute candle, and the stop 16 cents above. And look at this call. I mean, he just picked the top clean. From 16.79 went all the way down to 61.79. Sorry, went all the way down to 59.55. Unbelievable call. I don't remember what it was. Well over $2 a share on 16 cents risk. And he's just had the hot hand lately. He's been on fire. So didn't want to make a video without pointing that out. I mean, you can see it here on fives. Just pick the top clean there. But all right, my list for tomorrow, and then I'm going to go into intraday entries to look for. Very, very clean, low risk entry when you spot it. Okay. Anyway, let's go to the daily charts here. ALKS. See that volume there? This thing's just been on fire. It's come back down into what I call the buy zone between the 8 and the 20 day moving average. So in this area is where I generally look for a turn on a strong stock. And you can see the volume there. This is definitely a strong stock. It will be on bounce watch tomorrow. EXPE, Expedia, just pierced right through the 200 day. And then what? You've got 3 more days down since then. Nice bounce off 55 back here. And a lot of trading in this area to the left. So I'm looking for Expedia, again, only with an intraday setup, but I'm looking for a bounce in EXPE tomorrow. Again, it'll depend on the intraday action, whether or not I make a call or take it. JCPenney's JCP, loved this daily chart. Now it's come down for 3 days in a row. On declining volume, back down to the 8-day moving average. Definitely on bounce watch. This is a name that if it trades in a narrow range for a while tomorrow and then hits new highs, this is a name you can get a really nice pop. So have this one on a chart if you have the chance to trade it all tomorrow, and look for a break of its early high, coming out of a sideways move if possible. That's my favorite way to do it. And I'll make the call live in chat. I won't be able to coach you on what to do if you're not in our chat room, but keep an eye on JCPenney's. That's one that when it lights up the new highs, a lot of shorts in it, and I love that daily chart. Anyway, AVNR is kind of a cheapie and hasn't put in a green day since this gap up, and it hit whatever it hit, 386, and now it's down to 310. This one, even if it moves a dime on a $3 stock in our favor, that'll be a nice trade too. So keep your eyes on that one for a bounce tomorrow. FIRE, this is a little bit of a weird looking chart, but sold off into earnings, then gapped up after earnings, but then sold off all day. Maybe the market had partly responsible for that. So this will be on bounce watch tomorrow, even though it's a very strange looking chart. Some days the sellers just get a hold of a gap up and they just can't let it bounce, and the next day you'll see a nice move. So FIRE deserves to be on watch. STX, nice chart here, and I believe in after hours it's up over 38 on earnings. I don't have the after hours on here, but this is one to watch tomorrow. It's up in breakout territory as I'm speaking right now in after hours. And WLT had earnings as well. I told you guys I was going to swing some shares in my IRA. Get ready to laugh at me. I did hold them into the close. You know what? Let me put on after hours trading here. All right, and this is 5-minute candles after hours. And, our chat room members, they're going to laugh at me because they always say you'll never hold anything overnight. I even make a joke in chat room that I don't even hold my wife overnight. But in my IRA, I just went ahead and said, you know what, with CLF, all these calls on earnings, even if their earnings are bad, they've been moving up because their daily charts are so beaten up. Anyway, I ended up with like an average somewhere around 1750. as far as what I owned, and then I sold it in 3 parts. I sold it at 18.16, 18, and 17.70, and ended up. It may make a nice move tomorrow. I believe the conference call is tomorrow, if I'm not mistaken. So this is on my radar for a trade. But the joke here is I held my swing trade into earnings for about 10 minutes, and that's more than most of the chat room members said I would. So anyway, I did make a little money. I think I averaged 60 cents a share on all of my shares, so it wasn't too bad, but I'm actually more comfortable being out of it now. All right, and then I said I was going to show you one of my favorite setups on an intraday basis. Okay, here's one example. This is MTW from today. And the only reason it ended up on my radar is because of this big sell-off. So it's not like I had it on watch. Some people would look at this and say, well, dummy, why didn't you just short it right here? It wasn't even on my radar, okay? But on this sell-off, this has not broken, these are 5-minute candles, has not broken a previous 5-minute candle this entire sell-off. And when you get down here, it's actually taking out lows on the daily, and that's usually an area where I'll look for a turn. And I'll show you that in just a minute, but when you're looking for a bounce in an area on the daily chart that a stock is beaten up on intraday and should bounce on the daily, oftentimes what will happen is when you get the first break of a previous 5-minute candle, which is finally right there. This is literally the first break of a previous 5 minutes high since 18 bucks. Actually, it was right here. So all the way down to below 16.50 before it finally breaks a 5-minute candle's high. Okay. Now what I like to do is let it bounce and then see if it can come back down. And now the next time you break a 5-minute candle's high, that's your safer entry. Okay. And we call that in chat a secondary fives. Okay. This was the first fives. Now you could argue that, hey, entering here and a stop down here would have still held, and that's true in this case. I'll show you another one where it's not true. So in this case, you've got a new high, lower high, lower high. It'd be over this green candle if it gets there, 1666 with a stop below that green candle, and you got a nice quick move through 17, and it held up ever since then. So that's a secondary fives play. Let me show you the daily too. The reason I was watching that area for a bounce. All right. Let's get the arrow going here. You see this low right here from mid-April? Okay, it's come a long way down on an intraday basis. I look for it. When this is happening, I actually look for it to come down and take out the stops. People put the stops below the most recent low. So this is an area where I look for a bounce. Okay, we call that a stop run, and lo and behold, now you have a tail there. So that's why on the daily chart, I was watching it, and then on the intraday, you can see how the secondary fives set up right there. Very low risk. And then Coinstar is another example. CSTR. Look at this. 4 days down in a row. And finally, after this gap up on earnings, 4 days down hits the 200-day. Okay, so if you can see the 200 days right around 51 bucks. Now go to the intraday, 5-minute candles. Look what happens. Comes down, takes out 51, bounces. Okay, this is an area where we're looking for it to bounce because of the 200-day, and it's down 4 days in a row already. But look what happens. You take it on. You let the first 5-minute bounce happen. Don't touch it. Now on the secondary 5, look, you've got stair steps again. Now you take it if it breaks the previous 5's high, and there it is, and you get over a buck from there. Now I don't want to be misleading. I didn't call this one or MTW in chat today. Don't want to be misleading, but they're great examples. I use that as a teaching tool. I'm not a big fan. Matter of fact, I hate FOMC days. All right, I just made a couple trades today. Nicely green, but not a great trading day. I just don't like FOMC days. So having said that, I noticed both of these, and they're both great examples of how to use that secondary fives entry on an area that you're expecting a bounce. All right, I'm pretty sure I've babbled long enough, so I'll quit babbling, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Have a good night.